Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. In today's video I'm going to show you how to make your PC run faster, and it's absolutely free. Alright, the first thing we're going to talk about is your fan speed. Now you might ask, well, how is this going to involve your PC running faster? Well, if your fans are running faster, then that means your temperatures of all your components inside of your PC will be lower, like with your GPU and your CPU mainly. So with faster fans, it means more air through your case, which means lower temperatures, which in return will give you some higher performance, especially with your graphics card. Because if you're not familiar with this, is how graphics card works. It is a GPU has a base clock, but then as the temperature is low enough, then it increases that clock until the temperature gets higher, and then it decreases the clock again. So that's basically how it manages the temperature. With that being said, if you can run your fans faster, which means there's more air going through, which means that your components will be cooler. Now this can be set as for the GPU as well as for the CPU. So don't just increase the fans on your graphics card or just on your CPU cooler, but as well as for your entire case, because remember, a graphics card can only cool itself as good as the air surrounding it, as well with a CPU cooler. So I would definitely recommend that you ramp up your case fans a little louder, and that will definitely score you some better performance. Alright, so number 2 is CPU overclocking. Now this is also absolutely free. I did a video on that, and if you want to learn more about CPU overclocking, I'll link that video up above, then you can go check that out after this one, of course, and then you can see exactly how to overclock your CPU. So if you overclock your CPU, you'll definitely get some better performance. That's if you can overclock your CPU, but I discuss all of that in the video. I'll link it up above. And basically you get better performance out of your CPU, and you don't pay anything for it. Well, maybe a little bit in your power bill, because it will draw a little bit more power, especially if you up the voltage or some. But that is so minor, I really don't think that you'll even notice it. Alright, the third thing is GPU overclock. Now I also did a video on that, so I'll link that up above as well, so you can go check out that video as well, and there I explain everything of how to overclock a GPU and what programs you need and all of that. So if you're not familiar with how a graphics card exactly works, is that the driver basically for the graphics card or the GPU basically sets itself is what temperature is at what clocks it can run and so forth. But remember, there's something as the silicon lottery, so literally from card to card it matters. Even if you get the exact same card from the exact same batch, two of them, their clocks will matter, because it just matters of the chip, the GPU actual die, the chip. So with that being said, in most cases you can overclock your GPU to get much better performance, like I'm really meaning like even like 10-20% or even more performance out of your GPU, and that will result in a little bit higher temperatures. But then again, you can just ramp up your case fans a little bit until just below the point where you cannot stand it anymore. Alright, then the fourth thing I want to talk about is your case being clean. So I also did a video on that where I show you how to clean a PC, but let me tell you why that's important. So if your front panel, for example, if that is clogged up with a lot of dust, your fans cannot move the air through it, then your fans will, number one, be louder because your temperatures will be higher, and then number two, your temperatures will be higher because the fans cannot get enough air through your system. So I hope that makes sense. And with that being said, I just recommend cleaning out your system regularly. Yeah, dusting it off. If you have like some sort of a mesh or a dust filter, clean that out regularly, because you might be surprised how much literally like how much temperature you're actually gaining from your just dust filter being clogged, or even your fans being dirty. So even the amount of dust that accumulates on your fan, that makes it spin slower, and it changes the airflow and the aerodynamics of the fan. And this is getting really technical, but yeah, just make sure everything is clean, and then everything should be good. Alright, and then number 5. Now this is something I do basically on any PC I get onto. If someone tells me, well, this thing is running slow, especially on startup, is you go into Task Manager. So the way you do it is you just press Control Shift Escape, and that'll bring up Task Manager. Once you're in Task Manager, you might need to click just more details like the drop down to get the full big window. Alright, after that you want to head up to the Startup tab. So right there you'll see a list of all the programs that'll start immediately with Windows. So the problem with this is especially if you're running on a hard drive, your operating system, then all of these programs want to start right when you power on, when Windows just becomes active, when Windows is booting up. Then all of these programs, they all want to start as well. And then sometimes if you have like a lot of programs there, that can take you like minutes, even for like 5 to 10 minutes just for your hard drive to process all of that. And then most of the time you don't even need this. So things like Steam, your antivirus, any other apps, maybe some game launchers or some games, Adobe Creative Cloud, all of that, when you install them, their default is to start up with Windows. So if you go into Task Manager and then to start up, you can actually disable them, and you can see which one of them, all of them, they are enabled. So it's really easy. All you do is you right click on one, and then you either enable or disable them. So I would just recommend disabling everything you don't need. On my computer, the only thing I have enabled is actually just my audio drivers, because obviously I use my audio a lot on my computer and I don't want to go in there and manually turn on that. And then the second thing I have enabled is my Google Drive things. Alright, now this last thing might seem a little obvious to you, and this is actually a built-in feature right into Windows, and this is defragment and optimize disks. So basically all you can do is in your Windows search, you just search for defrag, and then that should be the first option that pops up. So what you do is you go in there, and then you can actually see all of your physical drives in your system. So this is all your SSDs, all your hard drives, anything basically physically connected, a storage device connected to your computer. And what you want to do is you actually want to run, especially for hard drives, this won't count as much for SSDs. It will help a little bit, but I don't think you'll notice it. But on a hard drive, you'll definitely notice this. So what you want to do is you just go in there, and then you just say optimize. You click on your drive and you just say optimize it. Now by default it is set to run weekly, so like each week it will do this automatically, but we all know Windows, for some reason that might have changed somewhere through use case. Like in my case, for some reason mine hasn't done this in 39 days. Now that's over a month, and although the setting says it's supposed to do it every week, it hasn't done it. So yeah, that's Windows right there for you. Right, and then the 7th tip. Now this also might seem a bit obvious, but a lot of people forget this. Anything unwanted on your computer that you don't need anymore. So let's say there's like a lot of series that you know you're never gonna watch again. Maybe throw that on an external hard drive or something. The games you're not playing anymore, uninstall them, or again just throw them on an external hard drive. So basically what that is all the data that's not on your computer, you can just get that off of Windows, having to load it and having to know it's there. That will help it a lot. And if you can, I would actually recommend removing all of your hard drives from your system. Now this is not meaning that you should remove your main C drive if that is a hard drive. What I'm saying is if you can afford it to run only on SSDs on your computer, then definitely do that, and then put your hard drive somewhere, like maybe in a NAS or in an older PC which you just create into a NAS. That will also help your system a lot. I've recently done this where I take all of the hard drives out of my system, I put that into a NAS, and I can definitely see there's a big difference in an improvement in performance on my computer, just because it doesn't need to initialize all of that drives, all of that terabytes of space. Literally that the NAS can handle that. So yeah, that's all of my tips for you for today. I hope you learned something, and I hope your PC will be faster. Remember to go check out those other videos I did with the CPU and GPU overclocking, as well as for the case cleaning. I'll leave all of them linked above, or maybe in the video description. Yeah, just look around, you'll see them somewhere. And thank you for watching, guys, and I hope you're all doing well, and until the next video, bye bye. But you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit.